This is Help Wanted, the show that makes your work for you. I'm Jason Pfeiffer, editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine.
And I'm money expert Nicole Lappin. On Tuesdays, Jason and I answer the helpline and help callers solve their work problems.
And on Thursdays, I give you one way to improve your work and build a career or company you love.
And it starts now.
You have an interesting background, or something interesting happened to you, or there's just some experience that you feel like really helps inform why you do what you do or the way in which you do it. And now you're wondering, can you share that? You want to. You've thought about it a bunch. You want to share your story. Everybody does. And you want to share it with customers or partners or colleagues or maybe future bosses. You want to share it on social media for other people to find it, or on a website, or wherever. Anyway, the point is here, you are not doing it. You're just thinking about it because you're hesitating, because you have a lot of questions. And those questions are things like, do people want to hear this? And will it be a turnoff? And is it TMI? Well, here's my answer. Your story is one of your strongest assets. It can make you relatable and memorable, and it can draw people to you, but only if you tell it right. Today on Help Wanted, I will show you a 4-step framework for turning personal stories into compelling narratives. And to show you how it works, let us start with a founder who experienced deep personal tragedy, and she's unsure how to talk about it. So here's how to tell the hardest story. Some context here, I co-founded a private network called CPG Fast Track, where we help early stage CPG founders grow their brands. And recently I met a new member named Jillian Froelich Burke. She's the founder of Nicer Foods. In our first conversation, Jillian told me why she started the company, and it is heartbreaking and powerful. 4 years ago, an intoxicated driver crashed into Jillian's family during a road trip, killing her husband and leaving her in a coma with severe injuries. Her young children were miraculously unharmed, but doctors didn't expect Jillian to make it. She did, though, and as she recovered, she became obsessed with health and healing, especially through food. That journey inspired her to create a nourishing brand that everyone can enjoy, which is Nicer Foods. For years, she said she didn't know how to talk about the accident. How does she share this story in a way that doesn't make Nicer Foods feel, depressing or just off-putting? But now she's remarried and she's building this brand with her husband, and she wants people to understand her mission. So she asked me, should I tell my story? And then she told me, I'm afraid it'll make the wrong impression. And I told her this. I said, first, only do this if you really, truly want to. You should never feel obligated to share your story, especially something that's personal like that. But if she was ready, and she said she was, then yes, I did think she should share it. It's powerful, it's honest, it explains the brand, and it will set her apart in a crowded market. So here is how to do it. This is about sharing something personal purposefully. Here's what people get wrong about storytelling. They think that it's just about facts, as if storytelling is simply a recounting of events. It is not. Powerful storytelling is about contextualizing those events, which helps your audience understand and react to the narrative. They don't just want to know what happened. They want to know why it matters. For example, imagine meeting someone at a party and then they tell you a tragic personal story. How do you feel? Probably a little uncomfortable. You're not sure what to say and you don't know what they want. Do they want comfort, sympathy, something else? Why are they telling you this? And is it rude to change the subject? But now imagine that you're at that party and someone tells you that same tragic story and then explains how it led them to a discovery, insight, or opportunity. Now you know how to respond and you understand them better. In other words, stories should drive toward a purpose, and that purpose is yours to define. So here is the 4-part formula for telling personal stories. Obviously, there are many ways to tell your story, and in this case, I'm really focusing on an outcome-oriented story. This is how to use your story for a specific purpose, whether that's on social media, on your website, on a stage, in a pitch, in any other setting where you want someone to act, like, say, hiring you or buying your product or just feeling better about you. To do this, you're going to tell your story in this 4-part format. Ready? Part 1, something happened to me. Part 2, it created a relatable problem that I needed to overcome. Part 3, it led me to create or deeply study a solution. And now part 4, now that I've learned this, I can help others, including you. Let me now say that one more time, but just faster. Part 1, something happened to me. Part 2, created a relatable problem. Part 3, led me to create a solution. Part 4, now that I've learned it, I help others, including you. Got it? By telling your story that way, you actually get to play 2 roles at the exact same time. First, you become your audience. You are just like them, having faced a setback and a relatable problem. But you are now also the authority because you did the work and now you know how to solve their problem. This is about building trust. You're telling them, look, I'm just like you, and I was pushed to action, and the solution that I have is honest and authentic. In this way, you are not just telling your story, you're telling your collective story because they, your audience, are now a part of it. And once you understand this framework, you are going to just see it everywhere. For example, my friend Jim Quick is a best-selling author and world-renowned brain coach. And if you go to the About page on his website, it says this, like the first thing you see is from boy with a broken brain to world's #1 brain coach. And when Jim explains the origin of his work, he basically tells it in exactly the format I just laid out. So here it is. Part 1, Jim experienced a brain injury as a child. Part 2, the injury limited his ability to read and write, and a teacher called him the boy with the broken brain. Part 3, he dedicated himself to understanding memory and learning, which helped him recover. And now part 4, he teaches others how to improve their own memory and learning. It is a powerful story, and it helped Jim build a powerful brand. Now, let me be really clear. Although Jillian experienced a car crash and Jim experienced a brain injury, you do not need severe trauma to tell a compelling 4-part story. Sarah Blakely does a version of it, for example. She was selling fax machines, which is not severe trauma, you know. She was selling fax machines, wanted to wear certain outfits, didn't look good in them, and then created a product to solve her own problem, which grew into Spanx. It's the same basic story, right? I had a problem like you, I did something about it, now I help you solve that same problem. So here is what Jillian did after I shared this framework with her. She spent a week thinking about it, and then she acted. She updated the About Us page on her brand's website, where she now tells her personal story. She writes about the car accident, the quest to reclaim her health, and working to care for her children's health as well. 1 week after posting her story on her website, she told me she already saw an impact. She wrote to me and said, I've had 2 different potential partners reach out completely unprompted, saying they love my story, find it inspiring, and want to find ways to work together. That response is very surreal, humbling, and motivating. I am thrilled for that, Jillian, but I am not surprised. Jillian has a powerful story. She experienced darkness, found light, and now wants to help others. Who doesn't love and appreciate that? Who wouldn't trust her more now that they know? You have this too. Your story will be different from Jillian's, but it can be powerful all the same. You experienced something. You acted. Now you have solutions for people like you. They are waiting to hear your story. So tell it. Help Wanted is a production of Money News Network. Help Wanted is hosted by me, Jason Pfeiffer.
And me, Nicole Lappin. Our executive producer is Morgan Lavoie. If you want some help, email our helpline at helpwanted@moneynewsnetwork.com for the chance to have some of your questions answered on the show. And follow us on Instagram at Money News and TikTok at Money News Network for exclusive content and to see our beautiful faces. And maybe a little dance.
Oh, I didn't sign up for that.
All right, well, talk to you soon.